All right, let's dive right into this absolute heavyweight clash, the 2026 World Cup semifinal matchup between Spain and France. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to break down exactly what international analysts are saying about this titanic showdown. Today, we're looking at insights from a Spanish-language channel called Futbol El Chile and an Indonesian source, Sedulur Motovlog. These two sources analyzed the exact same tournament, the exact same teams, but man, they came away with wildly different takes on who is going to punch their ticket to the final.
Now, what's really fascinating here is this incredibly bold quote from Futbol El Chile. Just listen to that confidence. They declare this a completely one-sided matchup. They aren't just predicting a narrow win, they're predicting an absolute overpowering. I mean, they are literally calling this iteration of the French squad a Super France, suggesting a level of utter dominance that Spain simply won't be able to handle based on their current form. That is a massive, massive statement to make ahead of a World Cup semifinal. But we have to ask, is that really true? Because our Indonesian source, Sedulur Motovlog, predicts the exact opposite outcome. So we really need to break down the journeys, the form, and the tactics of both squads to see who truly has the edge here. Is France actually this unstoppable juggernaut, or does Spain have the exact tools required to dismantle them? To figure that out, let's look at the hard evidence of how both teams actually got here. Section 1. The road to the semis. When it comes to tournament football, momentum is literally everything. And the narrative emerging from our sources, especially when building this strong case for a French victory, starts right at the opening whistle of the group stages. France was absolutely lethal. They scored a staggering 10 goals as they demolished Iraq, Senegal, and the Norwegian bench. Just think about that for a second. 10 goals in just 3 group games at a World Cup. As Futbol Chile points out, they weren't just winning matches. They were putting on offensive clinics against everyone in their path. That kind of firepower sends a massive, glaring warning sign to the rest of the tournament.
And here's the kicker. They were just as formidable in the back, conceding only 2 goals during that entire opening phase. So we aren't just talking about a chaotic, all-out attack here. They are incredibly balanced. Racking up a +8 goal differential right out of the gate proves that while their attackers are firing on all cylinders, their backline is like a brick wall. That balance is the very foundation of this Super France title. Moving into the knockouts, their journey shows them dispatching Sweden, surviving a really tough test against Paraguay, and ultimately eliminating Morocco to secure this semifinal spot. Now, Futbol El Chile does note that they suffered a little bit more against Paraguay in the round of 16, but hey, champions find a way to win even when their backs are against the wall. They handled Sweden, weathered the storm against Paraguay, and successfully pushed past a super resilient Moroccan side. They are battle-tested, and crucially, they remain unbeaten. Spain, on the flip side, had a much rockier start. They kicked things off with a pretty weak opening draw before finally finding their rhythm in the next 2 group matches. And this is a totally crucial point when assessing why analysts are leaning so heavily toward France. Let's be real, Spain hasn't exactly looked invincible from day one. That shaky, unconvincing draw at the start left some serious early doubts about their overall level, even if they did recover nicely to advance. But to their credit, Spain quickly turned into giant killers in the knockouts. They steamrolled Austria, sent El Bicho, Portugal, packing in the round of 16, and then dismantled a very strong Belgian team led by De Bruyne and Lukaku. You absolutely cannot discount that resume. They took down some serious European heavyweights to get here. But the lingering question from our sources is this. Did taking down a strong Belgium take way too much out of them? Is their current level really enough to deal with the French machine? Section 2. Contrasting tactical styles. Semifinals are rarely just about pure talent. They're all about tactical matchups. It's a high-stakes game of chess, and both of these managers are playing with totally different types of pieces. According to Sedulur Motovlog, this game is a classic tactical clash. Spain's reliance on ball possession and midfield creativity is directly facing off against France's lightning-fast counterattacks and razor-sharp forwards. Spain is going to want the ball, right? They want to dictate the tempo, play fast through the middle, and create chances through intricate passing. But ironically, this plays exactly into why so many believe France has the upper hand. When a team pushes high up the pitch to maintain possession, what do they leave behind? Space. And space is the absolute last thing you want to hand over to this French team. Section 3. The French firepower. This brings us right to the core of the argument for why France is the heavy favorite today. It's about the sheer, undeniable volume of attacking talent they can throw on the pitch at any given moment. Analysts note that it's not just one guy carrying the whole squad. It is the overwhelming collective power of Olisé, Dembélé, Tchouaméni, Rabiot, and of course, their superstar captain. Futbol Chile makes a fantastic point here. If you somehow manage to shut down one of them, another one instantly steps up. You've got the midfield engines of Tchouaméni and Rabiot perfectly feeding the blazing speed of Olisé and Dembélé on the wings. It's a multi-headed monster, and it thrives on exactly the kind of counterattacking opportunities a possession-heavy Spain will inevitably give them. And then there's Kylian Mbappé. He is having a simply incredible tournament, and as our source rightly points out, his experience of scoring a hat trick in a World Cup final makes him a terrifying threat in these massive, high-stakes matches. He's tearing it up in every single game, leading this team from the front. Look, you can have all the possession in the world, but when you're facing a guy who has proven he can score 3 goals on the biggest stage imaginable, any single mistake is fatal. That unmatched top-level experience is a huge reason why the momentum seems to sit so heavily with the French side.
Section 4, the final verdicts. So, taking all this data and tactical analysis into account, how do our sources predict this semifinal will actually wrap up? Well, we've seen the stats, we know the tactical clash of possession versus counterattack, and we understand the sheer firepower France brings to the table. Settle or Motovlog is actually expecting a fierce, down-to-the-wire 2-1 victory for Spain, entirely based on their midfield control, but that's only provided they're incredibly ruthless with their chances. They believe if Spain executes flawlessly, they can edge it out. But Football Al Chile provides a very compelling counter-narrative. They believe France is simply too dominant to be stopped. Their whole argument boils down to momentum and firepower, that Spain's current level, despite a great knockout run, is just not high enough to halt the relentless pace and finishing ability of Mbappé and this super France squad.
So the big question is, which side are you on? Will Spain's creative possession ultimately conquer, or will France's super squad speed their way right to the final? We've unpacked the arguments. We've seen the case for a tight Spanish victory through sheer control and the incredibly powerful argument for French dominance through ruthless counterattacking speed. Which strategy prevails when the referee blows that whistle? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next breakdown.